Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Rachel Williams begins now.
Good evening, everyone. 2 people are on the run after holding up a service station in the state's south. For more on this developing situation, our reporter Ebony Ablett joins us now live from the scene. Good evening, Ebony. What can you tell us?
Good evening, Rachel. Police were called to the Cowtex here on Main Road in Moona shortly after 4 p.m. The first offender, a female, entered the store before her male accomplice followed, brandishing a piece of timber. The male approached the counter, smashing a Perspex screen before demanding a sum of cash from the attendant. The attendant quickly went out the back of the store, thankfully uninjured, and the offenders fled on foot empty-handed. Police say the attempted armed robbery was over in under a minute, but the effects of the incident have left the attendant shaken.
Female involved, aged in her 30s, light coloured hair, where both the male and the female were wearing dark coloured hoodies, and one actually had Everlast written on the front of that hoodie, and the other male accomplice was aged 15, 16 years and dark hair.
Rachel, police are urging the public not to approach the alleged offenders. Anybody who is in the area or may have information is urged to contact Crime Stoppers.
Okay, thank you for that live update there, Ebony Ablett, joining us from Moona. Well, a property owner trying to renovate a home near Oatlands has been dealt a devastating setback. Fire ripped through the rear of the home, racking up a large damage bill. But the rest of the house was spared thanks to an old material used in the walls.
A devastating sight for the owner of this Parrata home. The back room severely damaged by fire, just metres from the town's local fire station.
Early in the evening, there were people about who spotted it fairly quickly, and the brigade travelled a short distance.
Fire crews from 4 stations in the Oatlands area were called to the property just before 11 last night. The quick response from local crews helping them get control of the blaze early and contain most of the damage to just the one area.
Most of the damage, fire damage, is to the single room of origin, but there is smoke damage through the rest of the property.
Police and fire investigators were on site this morning examining the damage. The property currently undergoing a renovation after lying vacant for a lengthy period.
The building's been unoccupied for the last 9 years, and recently has been changed hands, and a gentleman's been doing some cleaning out and renovating.
TFS crews remained on site overnight, conducting a watch of the property. Damage is estimated at around $100,000. However, the cost could have been higher.
The interior itself is the old lath and plaster walls, so that also prohibited the fire spread through the building.
A cause is yet to be determined. John Hunt, 7 Tasmania News.
Meanwhile, a house has gone up in flames in West Launceston this afternoon. Firefighters tried to battle the blaze, but the property was gutted in minutes.
Plumes of smoke spilled into the air as a fire erupted inside the home.
There was lots and lots of smoke, and then we had these sirens, and we were walking up the street, and then we looked over and there was this giant puff of smoke everywhere.
Crews were called to Georgina Court just after 3 p.m.
We had multiple 000 phone calls. We arrived shortly after that with a crew from Prospect and from Launceston, and the house was fully involved on arrival.
But there was nothing that could be done to save the property.
It looks like the house will be demolished just due to the sheer damage that has sustained from this fire.
Neighbours reported hearing explosions coming from the back of the house as the blaze took hold.
There was a lot of smoke and there were flames at the rear of the house.
Fortunately, no one was inside, and it's believed a dog ran from the property just in time.
The 2 crews that responded did get here quite quickly. They worked hard for the first 10 or 15 minutes when they arrived. The fire was extinguished quite quickly, so we are lucky that the fire did not spread to any other properties.
An investigation into the cause of the blaze is being carried out this evening. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmania News.
One of Tasmania's most significant buildings is today commemorating a special birthday. The Hobart Synagogue is celebrating its 175th anniversary, making it the oldest Jewish place of worship in Australia. Its interior retaining its historical features, including benches built by convicts, along with its original certificate of completion. Worshippers say it has provided sanctuary for people from all over the world.
We were able to welcome lots of refugees that came here from Europe, and that helped our numbers a lot, and it was great to be able to give them a safe place to be and to practice their Judaism.
The congregation will mark the occasion with an afternoon tea tomorrow. While many Tasmanian businesses have suffered severely from COVID-19, others are booming. Table Cape Tulip Farm in Wynyard is busier than ever, with many Aussies taking up gardening during the lockdown.
Nestled away on the northwest coast, this flower business is flourishing.
We've been surprisingly busy. Everyone who's been stuck at home have been taking to gardening, it seems, and so gardening the whole industry is going really well at the moment. Van Diemen Quality Bulbs has experienced only minimal impacts from COVID, with postage delays during the pandemic. We ship bulbs and plants all over Australia with Australia Post, and as most people know, they were just completely caught unawares, really. The popular Table Cape farm has been in the same family for more than a century. Workers have just finished harvesting Lilium bulbs. It's sort of late in the season, later than we'd like. It's been a pretty wet autumn. The annual tulip display will be making its return this spring. Dave and his team planted hundreds of thousands of bulbs in May, with 150 varieties for visitors to capture that perfect photo. They're all ready to go. We're just looking at them, and they're looking good. So they're going to be here, they're going to be flowering, and they're going to look fantastic. Fortunately, each row is 1.5 metres apart, so if you have to book a row, that's maybe what we end up doing. Letitia Wallace, 7 Tasmanian News.
It's the day the Huon Valley has been waiting for. Tahoon Forest Adventures is finally back in business. The opening has been a long time coming for the tourism icon, and it's hoped it will bring back local visitors in droves.
It's been a tough 18 months for Tahoon. The ferocious Gull River bushfires forced its closure in January 2019. After repairs, it reopened on February 29 this year, until it was again crippled, this time by coronavirus.
Leap year day, 29th of February, we reopened, and only to be able to have to close again after 3 weeks in one day, which was devastating.
Despite the moody weather, there was nothing to dampen spirits. The site finally reopened to visitors, this time for good.
It's fabulous now. We and I guess a lot of other businesses like us expect it to be closed probably for at least 6 months. So to get it back to some sort of normality after 3.5 months is terrific.
This reopening today of Tahoon Adventures is incredibly important.
The tourism hotspot's closure has had a ripple effect on other businesses in the area. Tahoon normally attracts more than 80,000 visitors each year from interstate and overseas. Now hoping for locals to fill the gap while we wait for borders to reopen.
We would love them to come in droves and to enjoy the Huon Valley in general.
Tasmanians are being urged to make a day or even a weekend of it. Stop in at local businesses along the way and support those who've been struggling. Before heading here to Tahoon, and with views like this, why wouldn't you?
Plan to come to places like this. Come and see our beautiful wilderness, and more importantly, come and support Tasmanian businesses like this that have done it tough.
Seek out all these exciting little businesses and that are here in the Huon Valley, and we certainly, our doors are open.
Ebony Ablett, 7 Tasmanian News.
With just 1 week to go until the TSL season begins, clubs in the north and south of the state are finalising preparations. North Hobart held an intra-club match at its home ground this morning. 60 players split into blue and red teams, with the Blues taking out the win. In the north, Launceston took to the field for its own trial match, giving players one final chance to impress. Launceston are away to Glenorchy in round 1, while North Hobart starts its 2020 campaign against reigning Premier North Launceston.
Good evening. A top of 13 in Hobart today. Launceston and Burnie both 14. Devonport with the state's top of 15 degrees shared with St Helens. 14 at Ouse today. Flinders, King Island, Smithton, Lowhead and the Friendly Beaches all 13. Maria Island 12, 11 at Strawn. Liaweni -2 overnight up to a top of 6 degrees today. Low cloud covering much of Tasmania there. Further afield, and a cold air following a front produced some thunderstorms. Low cloud over Victoria and South Australia, a cold front to the southwest of WA. A look at tomorrow's chart now, and a strong high will linger over South Australia. A cold front will move to the south of the Bight. Coastal waters and west to southwesterly winds at 15 to 25 knots, swells to 3 metres. And a strong wind warning from Sandy Cape to the northern tip of Flinders Island tomorrow, and from St Helens to Low Rocky Point, also including Frederick Henry Bay, Norfolk Bay and Storm Bay. Sunday's forecast now: Hobart, a possible shower 13, a cloudy one for Richmond 13 also, Ooze a shower and 11. A partly cloudy day for Launceston and Devonport 14, Deloraine expecting 13. Much the same for Burnie tomorrow, fine and 13, showers for Strahan 12, Curry looking at a top of 13 with a shower or two. A mostly sunny day for St Helens 15, 14 at Swansea, and on Flinders Island, Whitemark 14 and fine. To the 3-day forecast now, and Monday a shower for the west and south, but fine elsewhere. Tuesday a mostly fine day right across the state, and on to Wednesday another fine day statewide with some areas of morning frost about central parts. Perth and Brisbane tomorrow both 21, Darwin looking at a sunny day and 31, Sydney 18, Canberra 13, Adelaide 15 and 14 on the way for Melbourne. And currently it's 11 in Hobart and cloudy, mostly cloudy in Launceston, and 11, Devonport 12 and mostly cloudy, and that wraps up Saturday's weather, and there'll be a few chilly starts early next week. Rach?
That's all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening. Good night.